I should have said what up a second later, but I'll see if anyone tunes in. We'll see. We'll see if anyone comes. It's kind of late tonight, but still got some work to do in the Gecko room, so I was figuring I would go live. So keep an eye out for community posts. They're sort of like Instagram posts that you can make on YouTube. If you ring the notification bell on my YouTube channel, it'll notify you of every time I drop a message or a video. What is up, Annabelle? Hello. I don't remember seeing your name before, Annabelle, so welcome. It is good to have you. I'm just getting started here. I see somebody else entered, but it doesn't show me who that person is. So yeah, if you want to drop your name or whatever. Jordan, hello. I remember you from last night. Annabelle, I don't remember seeing your name before, Annabelle. You have a leopard gecko. Great. Tune in because on this channel, we talk about leopard gecko stuff. And anyone in the comment section who could answer questions along with me, you can feel free to do that while I'm working here. So again, the goal tonight, I'm going to be breeding geckos for the next hour or so. And I just wanted to provide a community platform for people to come in, ask questions, have questions answered, just have a little bit of fun. I'm sure it's kind of late where some of you guys are. It's 9 o'clock here, Mountain Standard Time. So I'm not Annabelle, I'm Lila. Leela or Lila? My sister's Annabelle. Cool. Both very nice names. Okay, that's a little coffee. Try not to drink too much coffee, especially late at night. But welcome, you guys. I'm kind of just giving a couple minutes to settle in, gather my thoughts here a little bit. I have breedings to do tonight. So if you got questions, go ahead and let me know. So this is our list of females that we are expecting eggs from. The circles mean that I want to repair that female because maybe she had an infertile egg, or maybe I just feel like she's already laid a couple clutches and I want to get some more of the male's DNA inside of her. And the check marks mean that she was successfully repaired, or I tried to repair her and she rejected the male. So funny you mentioned, Annabelle. Tomorrow, a friend of mine is in town, and during the day we're going to do a live stream with him where he's going to video me live and we're going to put it up and we're going to do a whole tour, a whole facility tour. But my backyard is filled with tegu caging, sailfin dragon. I'm going to get some iguanas this summer, large iguanas, Lewisii hybrid iguanas, rock iguanas. I love those giant iguanas, spiny-tailed iguanas. I want to get those for the backyard. So about half the backyard is getting filled up with reptiles now. We have 3 full rooms filled up with reptiles. One is purely for leopard geckos. One is purely for snakes like ball pythons, and we have boas in that room. And the third room is kind of miscellaneous for sailfin dragon, bearded dragon, savannah monitor. Hey, Gabriel, want to ask, can you keep pregnant females in the same cage? Yes, you can. They will compete for places to lay their eggs, so make sure you leave multiple hides for where the females can lay so that they're not all forced to lay in the same hide, which is your prerogative. If you want them to all lay in the same hide, that's okay, but it might stress them out a little bit, and they're going to be laying eggs on top of each other. So I'm sure you could imagine that's not the best scenario. So I would recommend, if you have more than one female, to have somewhere between 2 to 3 humid hides that they can lay their eggs in. So, and although it looks kind of messy, this is our breeding list for the night. So these are the ones that are crossed off are breedings that have happened, and the ones that are not crossed off are breedings that need to happen. And so that is what we are going to begin to do tonight. So let's see here. Kind of give you guys this perspective here. And I'm going to be coming back and forth between the chat. So if I miss a question, let me know. And I'm going to be looking at the chat while, dealing with animals. Now, when I step over here, to that side, let me know if my voice goes down because I can turn the microphone around. So can a 12 quart tub be okay for an adult leopard gecko? Yes, 12 quart is perfectly fine. If you look at all of these tubs right here, Repti Talk, all of those are 12 quart tubs, all of them from Walmart. And that's what we use here for our adult leopard geckos. They're all housed individually. I started it this way. Males were on the left, females were on the right, but then the female rack all filled up. And so the bottom portion here on the male rack is also more females. But essentially, in the future, I would like to have racks designated just for female and then racks designated just for male, and maybe even according to morph, right? So this whole rack will be the tangerine morph. Another rack will be like the white and yellow morph. A third rack will be like the bold stripe morph. So that's awesome. A lot of breeding. Yeah, pretty decent amount of breeding. And you're gonna see why it actually take when you try to keep track of the genetics carefully of leopard geckos, they actually take a little bit more time to breed than like ball pythons or some other species, because you actually have to watch them breed to make sure that the right, sperm from the male is getting passed on. So yep, 20-gallon tank, perfect there. So yeah, keep at it at the chat. I'm gonna constantly pop back in and look to see what you guys are up to. So a couple things that need to be done tonight. We need to check for new ovulations. That is not as important. I'm going to deprioritize that. Checking for new ovulations. We need to pair geckos that were previously ovulating, and we need to check for eggs. So let's do this. Let's pair geckos that are already ovulating, and then we are going to, in the meantime, while talking to you guys, I'm going to check for eggs. So first gecko up on the list that needs pairing. So if you're looking at this here, anything that it's, I know that's blurry. That is horrible, horribly blurry. I don't know why. But anyway, the stuff that's circled is stuff that has already paired, and I just haven't updated it in the computer yet, so it's not crossed off. But this is first on our list today. NN7. NN actually just stands for no name, because we just came up with a coding system for all of our animals. But prior to the coding system, I just had to start naming some geckos like no name and stuff just to keep track of who they are. But this is our ID system now. It's going to say the base morph of the gecko. For example, every gecko has a base morph class that it belongs to, kind of like a video game. You got sorceress, you got barbarian, you got druid. That's like my favorite game, by the way, Diablo. So they're creating a 4, they're creating Diablo 2 remastered, like remade. I'm super excited about that. But anyway, every gecko needs a base morph, right? So this gecko's base morph is Snow. It was born in 2020, and it's the 5th gecko. It's the 5th gecko that we've owned that is the Snow genetic, and the F stands for female. If it was male, it would be male. So whenever I sell a gecko or look at a gecko's ID tag, I have everything that I need to know about that gecko. I have the fact that I have its base morph, I have the year that it was born, and I have the specific number ID code that it is in our system, as well as the genetic. And then, of course, if it's more than a Snow, I put its additional genetics here. So this is not just a Snow, it's a Super Snow. It actually has 2 Snow genes. It's Het for Eclipse, and it's possible Het for Tremper. And there she is right there. Pretty girl. We're actually going to try to probably breed her to a Black Knight tonight, guys, because I want to breed Black Knight into Snow. So, wow, 10 people now, right on. Can I put a male, female leopard gecko together? I recommend only during breeding. Some people keep males and females together year round, but what might happen is the male might force himself onto the female and stress her out over time. So it's up to you whether you want to kind of keep an eye on them. If you do decide to put them together, I would recommend housing them in a minimum of, what do I want to recommend? If I did have to recommend, if I did have to recommend year-round housing, I would say at least a 20-gallon tank and 2 or 3 different hides that they can share. That way the female can go across the tank to get away from the male, because males are very pursuant. They will pursue the female over and over again, even if the female doesn't want to breed or even if she's already bred. And it will kind of stress her out a little bit. If you need to sell a gecko, do you need all that information? Yes, if I need to sell a gecko, Lila, the buyer, the customer is most likely going to want all that information, and so they want it number one, but also I want it number two, so that I can provide accurate information to the customer of that leopard gecko's history. Do you think there's too many leopard gecko breeders for myself to breed them? Absolutely not. This is shown in the ball python community. The ball python community has way more breeders than the leopard gecko community. Yet they still sell out every single year of certain morphs and certain genetics, because as more people get in, more breeders are needed. For example, you, Reptile, if you're making content, if you have a YouTube channel that is promoting leopard geckos, other people are going to get excited about leopard geckos, and now more people are coming into the market, and there's more market share for people to be breeders. My female is showing signs that she wants to breed with my male, who is housed next to her in the same room, but he is 75 to 80 grams. That's fine. Idris, that's perfectly fine. That's okay. I have about 3 heights. Yeah, 3 hides, I'm sure you meant to say, but yeah, that's good. So we're going to take our first 2 geckos here of the night. We need No Name 7, and then one of our most beautiful bold stripe white and yellows. I'll show them to you. So I can only breed a male once a night, so I don't know if I want to waste that male's genetic on this, because there's another female I want to breed him to. So we actually might try that female first. And she is bold female 3. So I'm looking for bold female 3. Bold 2020 female 3. And yeah, this is her. So I'll show you why I'm pairing these two, and maybe that'll give you a little insight into my brain as far as why I'm doing what I'm doing. So this is a bold stripe leopard gecko. You can see the fact that it has a stripe here and a stripe there. Now it also has something really cool. It has further lateral stripes on both sides that I would like to develop. So possibly this gecko could become a quad stripe, a 4-striped gecko. That's never been done before that I've seen, or, you know, not at least promoted that much, you know. So what I am going to do, though, is I'm going to pair this gecko with the best male, in my opinion, that I can do. So I've learned this little trick because I breed 2 geckos at a time, and so that I don't mix up the hides of the geckos, I take this green pin and I put it with the gecko that belongs to it. I'm going to put it here on the gecko's tub. Therefore, I could keep track. Now, check out this beautiful bold striped white and yellow male. And you might be saying, yeah, his stripes are not so bold, but I might actually start a new name genetic called the pinstripe, which is a much cleaner, thinner, cleaner looking stripe. And in person, this guy's colors are just amazing. Why is the camera blurry? I need to try to figure out. I promise I'll get better lighting and all that kind of stuff worked out. But so this is a bold stripe male. It has 2 stripes down both sides, but they're very fine looking stripes, very clean, like pencil looking stripes. And the same with the female. So we're going to put them together and see what happens. Now, like I said, I'm usually doing 2 at a time, and I leave the males rack open like that so I know which males are out. and we'll keep an eye on those and see what happens. But let's hit the next on the list. So tricky stuff, guys. Sometimes you run into males. Sometimes you run into females that don't want to breed right away, and it kind of hurts the male's feelings, if I could put it that way. Like, she'll chase him off, she'll bite him, and then like he becomes like not the best breeder for a couple of days. So I have a couple of females on this list that have not been receptive to any males. I've tried different males, any males that I've put them with, and I'm kind of worried that if I put my high class male, my high class Black Knight male, if I put him with one of these females, it's going to delay him a couple of days. So let's see what you guys think. But the Black Knight, which is that genetic code right there, BN, Black Knight, he's scheduled to breed to an Afghanicus female, another Afghanicus female, another Afghanicus female, and then also I changed my mind about this. I want to make Snow Black Knights, and so I'm going to try to breed him to a Snow as well because they look really cool. So there's 4 girls on this list that need to be bred that I want the Black Knight to go to, but some of these girls are rejecting males right now, and you just have to keep trying. Others of the girls, they just started ovulating, so they might be a little bit more receptive and they might receive the male. And you can only pick one of these girls that you want the male to go to every night. I only breed one male a night. I mean, I only breed the male once a night. The next day, I'll breed him again. You're welcome, Reptile Talk. I appreciate your guys' support. John, I'm going to be pairing my ovulating female super giant white and yellow female to my giant Tremper albino. Is possible to wait too long to pair them together when she's ovulating? Good question, John. So when a female leopard gecko starts ovulating, she will ovulate for the period of about 5 months. So if you don't breed her until about 2 to 3 months into her ovulation, you're going to miss out on all of those eggs that you could have gotten prior, which is why you guys understand now how important it is that I get all of these females bred as soon as possible, even though they give me problems. Like, some of these don't want to breed, right? So let's see if we're going to do, let's see if these two are breeding. Where are they? Where? Oh, I think. Oh, I thought they were breeding. Oh, they are breeding for a second. Catch some live breeding. The camera usually doesn't bother them, but this is what the male does. He'll bite up and down the female and then lock with them. Oh, there we go. She's lifting her tail. Perfect. Getting into position. This is what you want, guys. But not every breeding goes as easy as this. But see, now that I see the lock, this is how I maintain quality control. So when someone buys a gecko from me, I can guarantee them, hey, look, I know these geckos locked on this date. I know the sperm that is in the female, the DNA that is passed on to her. And I can guarantee that for people, you know, as much as we humanly can. So once they're done like that, you'll see she'll kind of pull away and walk away, and he will lick his private parts because his private parts are hanging outside of his body right now, and they can't have that. So they need to lick that back in. My favorite type of reptile, I have a few. Monitor lizards are so cool. They're like little dinosaurs. Leopard geckos are awesome because they come in so many different color, pattern, mutation. You're just your own creator with it. So sorry, I don't mean to say cake. I meant to say gecko. Yeah. How often do females reject the males? Should any new breeders be particularly scared of this? You know what? I would say, in thinking about a percentage of the time, I would say 70 to 80% of the time, you won't have a problem with breeding. But there's that 20 to 30% where you do have a problem. And sometimes I've had females that rejected a certain male, and on the same day, I put a different male with that female and she'll receive him. Why is that? I have no explanation for that other than natural selection. The gecko is just picking up some kind of sense from the male of what she wants to pass along to her lineage. You know what I mean? So this doesn't happen too often, guys. Most of the time it is wham bam and things are good to go. But yeah, I would say every 2 to 3 geckos out of 10 you're going to run into issues for, which is why it takes me so long to breed geckos every single night. But I want to maintain that quality control for my collection, for our customers, so that I can guarantee their genetics and the health of the animal. I got my eyes on the animal. I'm very hands-on with the animals. And you know so yeah, it happens. But so it'll only take the male a couple of minutes to kind of lick his private parts, and then we'll put him back. So Lameso, I don't know if you just saw, but go back in this live stream. 2 leopard geckos just bred on the live stream right now. They were literally locked for only about 30 seconds. That's about the time period that your geckos should be locked. Sometimes they're locked a little bit longer, but most of the time it's about 30 seconds. Do females seem to permanently reject a specific male, or do they at some point come to throw many come at some point? Mark, can you rephrase that? At some point, come to blank many reintroduction. Do females seem to permanently reject a specific male? That's a good question. So in my data tracking sheet, I will have the different males that I tried to breed with the female, and then next year I can keep track of that to see if those females will reject that male again next year. But as far as on a day-to-day basis, if a female rejects a male tonight, I'll try again tomorrow with the same male. She'll reject him. She'll reject him day after day after day, as long as she's in the rejecting mood. Some females will reject every single male you put in there. Other females will finally accept the male. You try different males, and finally she accepts the male. Should I let my geckos lock more than once? Yes, I would recommend after every 2 clutches, repair your geckos. So once your geckos mate for the first time, let them lay their eggs. And then as long as the eggs look fertile, you don't have to repair them until like 2 clutches later. So you want to repair a gecko maybe 2 or 3 times over the course of the 5 months that it's laying eggs. Do you see that gecko dancing like on the wall, like there at the end of their bin? Yeah, geckos, they will do this. Geckos will do that, if that's what you mean by dancing. They're constantly doing that, And some people might be like, oh, look at the poor little gecko, it wants to get out, and that's just part of captive husbandry. I had this discussion yesterday. Would it be better for an animal to be confined in captivity where at least it's safe and well monitored, or to be in the wild where it's constantly under threat of other predators? So that's for every person to kind of decide their ethical compass on that. But for me, like, I know that I take really good care of my guys here. You can see this guy's just chilling. This one's chilling. But yes, they do that a lot. They do this a lot. And I've heard people with bigger setups say, oh, how can you keep it in such a small setup? And my question to them is simple. Does your gecko scratch at the glass? As long as it scratches at the glass, then your setup is too small. I could throw that argument back into their face. If they say, hey, your setup's too small, Frank, look at the geckos are scratching at the glass. They could have a 50-gallon tank, and all I need to do is ask them one question. Hey, do you ever see your gecko scratching at the glass? And if the answer is yes, then unfortunately they fall into the same judgment that they were just passing on me, So everyone kind of has to come up with their own level of what you're comfortable with. I'm comfortable with geckos being in 12-quart tubs. There's a lot of people that will house geckos in even smaller tubs, but personally, just for, like my ethical standpoint and my comfort standpoint, I like the 12-quart tubs. I don't have a lot going on in here, and that's for a couple of reasons. The main reason is it's easy to take care of these guys. Look how clean that tub is, though. There's no poo in there, fresh worms, fresh supplement, fresh water, humid hide. Like the hide is actually wet and not dry. This gecko's just chilling on the top. No poo here. The reason that that's all possible is because it's a simple setup. If I had logs and twigs and branches and stuff all over the place for 200 geckos, it would take an impossible amount of time to clean all of those logs, to get the poo off of all of that stuff. And so this setup for a breeder is actually much more clean and effective, health wise, to take care of the animals. So hope that makes sense. Can you explain how long geckos take to breed? 30 seconds, Lila. If you saw, I just put the male with the female and that's it. Once they lock, the female will lay 2 eggs every 2 weeks for about 4 months, and then she's done for the year. If you have multiple females in the same cage as one male, how long should you leave them together to breed? If people are housing multiple females to one male, most of the time they leave them together 24/7. I don't do that right now. I only house females completely separate than males, but the people that I know that do house males and females together, they will leave the males and the females together because 24/7, because one male, you know what I mean? Can he breed can he breed 2 females in one night? Probably, but is it also increasing the risk for him to hurt his private part? And yes, as well, you know. So young, I would recommend that if you are doing a group setup, create a big enough tub to where you just leave the males with the females 24/7 and they could just do their thing and breed on their own, as long as the females have space to run away and you know, be separate from the male. How long after eggs are laid do they hatch? Caleb, I have 2 videos on that right now on my YouTube channel. Go into the video section and look how long they take to hatch. 60 days for females, 45 days for males. I explain everything in the videos. Leopard gecko eggs are temperature sex determined, meaning that if they're incubated between 88 to 90 degrees, they hatch at 45 days. If they're incubated at 80 to 82 degrees, they hatch at 60 days. Right now, I have an egg in the incubator whose sibling hatched. It's at like 75 days. It's crazy. I've never had an egg last this long. I'm on the verge of like wanting to cut it open, but I'm just kind of letting it, you know, giving it its time right now. Some animals, if they can't get out of the egg, if the shell is too hard, if their little egg tooth that slices the egg is not able to do so, they can drown in their own embryonic fluid and stuff in there. So that's why ball python breeders a lot of times will cut the eggs at about day 60, but it doesn't, from what I've heard with lizards, it doesn't work so well with lizards. So I'm kind of holding off on that for now and just trying to let it, you know, pray and cross my fingers and hope it hatches in time. I have a 23 quart tub for my leopard geckos, but I'm considering downsizing to 12 quart. 12 quart is fine, Rep to Talk. As you see, I have all 12 quart tubs here. All of that is 12 quarts. And for babies, it's 6 quart. And I keep 2 babies in every one of these 6 quarts, as you can see, until the babies are big enough to go into their 12 quart cages. Wow, a lot of questions here. Again, guys, so I appreciate all the questions. This is so good. I just want to take this opportunity to say why we are doing a lot of live streams and super chats. I appreciate any support I can get, asking questions, you know, engaging with us and being here. If you have it on your heart and you're available and you're able to do so, please hit that donate button at the bottom of the chat, because it will help our organization out so much to keep doing what we're doing, bringing you content and just launching this business into the sky, so that we can have a visitable facility one day where we could actually like have people come or fly people out to come see our facility and give you a tour. And we just want to grow a whole reptile park, right? Like Jurassic Park, but for reptiles. So we are monetized now. Hit that super chat button or super sticker if you're able to. Appreciate it so much. Well, can I ask you a question? What breed is that? Because I have 2 leopard geckos. One's my sister, and I don't know what breed it is. Send me an email, geekygeckocreations@gmail.com. I will ID the gecko for you the best I can. What do you think about using cocoa fiber as a substrate for leopard geckos? As a pure substrate, cocoa fiber is probably the best loose substrate you can use. I experimented with sand before. Sand typically gets impacted in the gecko's intestines, and over time, if they don't have high enough heat Like if they don't have access to like 100, thank you, whoever gave that super chat, thank you so much. And that's why I make the announcement, guys, just not to put any pressure on you guys. Please, please, please understand. I do not make the announcement for super chat to put any expectation or pressure, but just a simple reminder. So thank you so much. I'll take a second, Eric, to shout you out, Mr. Sanchez. I appreciate your first super chat of the night. Getting back to Lameso's question, loose substrate is a big debate in the leopard gecko community. If you use sand, make sure your temperatures are like 100 to 105, because when the geckos lick the sand, let's see if we can. Oh, that gecko's away. Yep, let's give an example of this male right here. Watch how the gecko licks my finger. Do you see that? I don't know if you saw that. Every time a gecko touches something with their nose, they lick it, the entire cage. And so when you have sand as a substrate, the gecko will lick up the sand, and it gets into its digestive system. Over time, if that gecko does not break that sand down, it will become impacted. So cocoa fiber passes through the digestion system better than sand does. Does that mean that a gecko cannot become impacted from cocoa fiber? No, it does not. A gecko can still become impacted from any loose substrate, which is why, guys, I want to use sand so bad. I love a naturalistic enclosure so bad, but that is why I use newspaper. Paper towel is kind of weak, so when the geckos scratch, it just moves the paper towel, but newspaper is rigid and sturdy, and it allows for the gecko to scratch, and it just stays in place. The reason I use newspaper is so that geckos cannot have impaction risk. How does breeding with multiple line bred traits work? Example, baldy, hypo, carrot tail. So the way it works with multiple line bred traits, if one parent has the trait and the other parent does not, the babies are going to be split down the middle. Think of it like a 6'7" man, human being, having a baby with a 5'1" female. How tall are those kids going to be? They're probably going to be somewhere in the middle, right? They're not going to be on the super short side. They're not going to be on the super tall side. They're going to be right in the middle because they take a perfect blend of the parents' traits. If you take a baldy gecko that has if you take a baldy gecko, which is no patterning on the head, and you breed it to a tangerine gecko, which has lots of patterning on the head, but is orange, then the babies are going to be half baldy, half orange. I hope that makes sense. Any tip for how to casually breed? Casually breed. In my situation, I just got a female. I'd like to breed, and I don't plan on doing it again, just this once. Any tips? Yeah, so Isaac, do you keep them separate? If you keep them separately, I have an ovulation video. Try to catch the female when she's ovulating and write that date down, because every year she's most likely going to ovulate in the same month. When that female starts ovulating, you will have about 5 months where she will continually ovulate every 2 weeks. If you never pair her, she'll keep ovulating but never lay eggs. If you do pair her, just introduce the male to the female, let them breed, and then remove the male and never breed them again for the rest of the season. That's the least amount of contact and stress. If you want to increase the likelihood of fertility, breed them again 2 or 3 times throughout the season if the female will receive the male. I hope that helps. I have a question. What temperature should leopard gecko tank be? I would say 75 to 80 degrees at the cool end, and you want a hot spot of 90 to 95 degrees. What weight do you recommend for a female to breed? Oh, I hear more tail wagging. I need to separate these guys out. So we're going to get this male. He got his boy parts all put back into his body, which is what we want. Perfect. And now he's retired for the evening. He's not going to breed anymore this evening. Beautiful pinstripe white and yellow male. And let's get this female put away here. Now that they're done breeding, I'll take the clip off and I'll use it for the next pair that goes in there. But okay, y'all got a lot of questions, so let me see if I can get that up here. So the weight that I recommend is anywhere in that 40 to 45 gram range. If your female is ovulating but is 50 to 55, that's perfect, Idris. If I breed my Bell Albino to a Bell Albino, am I guaranteed Bell Albino? Yes. Watch my video on, I have a whole video series, 4 videos in depth about dominant, co-dominant, incomplete dominant, recessive, Punnett squares, all of that, guys. Good stuff to understand it a little bit more. But when you breed a recessive visual to a recessive visual, you will get all recessive visuals as babies. My blizzard to a normal, the baby from there back to the blizzard, do I get more blizzards? Yes, so if you have a blizzard and you breed it to a normal, because blizzard is recessive, all of the babies will look normal, but they will be carrying the blizzard, one copy of the blizzard gene. If you breed that baby back to its parent, which is visual, then yes, 50% of that next pairing will be visual, 50% will be het, blizzard. I've learned a lot from you, man. I have 2 leopard geckos in different stages, and I still could, yeah, perfect. I appreciate it, Eric. That's why I do this. I love it. Want to keep going strong into the future, and you know, help other people get there, right? Somebody asked a question a second ago, do I think there's too many breeders in the leopard gecko community? No, I want all you guys to be breeders. Anyone who wants to be a breeder, I want to help you so that you can grow your gecko passion dreams as well. The email, not Isabel, the email, Lila is geekygecko.creations@gmail.com. You can also visit our website, geekygecko.creations.com, and there's a contact form there where you can email us. So geekygecko.creations@gmail.com. How old should leopard geckos be before I sell them? You want them at least 3 to 4 weeks old before you sell them. More about weight than age. Yeah, I would say the same thing. Our use a carpet will not like a carpet at our little girl local gecko store. I am Skills and Tails. They sell carpets. Yeah, there are gecko carpets you could buy. Personally, I don't really like those because you have to take them out and clean them. I like just replacing the newspaper because if you have to clean the carpet, first of all, they could get their toenails stuck on the fibers of the carpet. And second of all, it's a lot of work to clean that carpet so that there's no residue of poo or parasites or any of that gets left over. When you use newspaper, it gets thrown away, one and done, and then you make a new one. This might have been asked already, but which case, my bad. But at what point into ovulation do you pair your geckos? I pair the geckos as soon as I see them ovulating. As soon as I catch that girl ovulating, I immediately try to pair her that same night. Sometimes she accepts the male. Other times she rejects him. If she rejects him, I will continue every day or every couple days to try to pair her until she pairs. But at what point into ovulating do you pair your geckos, or as soon as you see them? Yeah, as soon as you see them, they're good to go. Isaac Pineda, thank you very much for your donation, Isaac. $2.99. I appreciate that, sir. Thanks for the help, and they'll be kept separate mainly. Yeah, there's a lot of people that house 24/7 geckos together. You know, I'm not against that per se. Personally, as a breeder, it works better for me to have each gecko housed individually. I can keep track of genetics. I don't have to worry about a gecko accidentally breeding with another gecko. I can look for the lock, guarantee that there was a lock, and track all of that data. Is it a bad idea to breed my male with a female in her bioactive enclosure where there's dirt substrate and just generally not as clean? That's actually a very good point, John. With any breeding, there is risk. Anytime. You could have the perfect circumstances and there's still risk that the female pulls away too fast and rips the male's private part off of his body. There's risk in anything you do, right? In the hobby, as a breeder, we try to mitigate those risks. Is it safer to breed on newspaper or paper towel? Yes. Does that mean that they can't? Or I've bred geckos on sand before, and think of how rough sand is. What if that got caught in the boy's private part, right? So you should be perfectly fine in a bioactive environment. Again, remember, in the wild, these guys are just breeding on rocks and in sand. But a lot of things happen. I'm not one of those people that likes to mimic what happens in the wild, because the wild is actually not the best living circumstance for a gecko. It's sort of, forgive me for this kind of abrasive picture, but if I was to put you on the street and make you survive, could you survive? Yes. But where are you going to survive best? In a setting that is controlled, where you can have a house that is heated or cooled and have access to clean food and toilet and water. It's the same with the leopard gecko. Leopard geckos survive in the wild. They breed on rocks. They dodge hawks and snakes and all that kind of stuff. But does that mean that that's what we want to mimic in captivity? No, I don't want my geckos scared of predators in captivity. So to answer your question, John, yeah, you could breed them on sand. You could breed them in a bioactive environment. But to mitigate that risk as much as possible, newspaper ultimately would be the best. But not everyone wants to go newspaper, and I understand that. I'm planning on breeding 2 dominant genes. What should I expect as far as the appearance of the hatchlings? What 2 genes, Aisher? For example, if you take a white and yellow, which is a dominant gene, and you breed it with a snow, which is another dominant gene, you will get 50% snows and white and yellows. You will get some that are just snow, some that are just white and yellow, and others that are snow and white and yellow. And actually, it's a 25% chance to hit both of those, because it's a 50% chance to hit the white and yellow multiplied by a 50% chance to hit the snow. 50% times 50% is 25%. So 25% of the babies will be snow and white and yellow. 50% of the babies will be just snow. 50% of the babies will be just white and yellow. Do you find it is cheaper to buy newspaper in bulk? Yeah, I actually just, I've been using free newspaper and getting friends and family to give me their newspaper. But recently, another reptile breeder of mine told me, I forget the name of it, but you can go to like Walmart and buy like, it's not wrapping paper, but it's like brown kind of like newspapery paper, or you can call up your local newspaper place and try to get what's called an end roll. An end roll is unprinted newspaper, and you could try to buy that off of them. I tried that, and I didn't get through. They never gave me a call back. So thank you so much for your information. We are starting to breed. We have a funky mix, but hopefully it helps our funds to buy better quality. We are expecting our first eggs. Yeah, you got to start somewhere, right? Start with the more inexpensive, lower quality stuff. Kind of get your hands on how all of that stuff works before just diving off the deep end and spending a lot of money. I totally get that. I did the same thing. I started picking up the most beautiful and interesting geckos that I could find from like Craigslist, blah, blah, Facebook forums, blah, blah, blah. And then eventually I invested, once I had some money, I invested into like a $700 pair of tangerines. And now I've been breeding them the last couple of years. And every single year I hold back babies, so that my collection now is like 30 tangerine breeders this year, maybe 20 tangerine breeders this year. And when we hold back the gecko babies from this year, we'll have like 50 or 70 tangerine geckos next year to breed, if that makes sense. What I do is my gecko, he poops on a paper towel. Yeah. Is it normal for my leopard gecko that wasn't bred to not eat? She hasn't eaten in 2 weeks, but is healthy with a thick tail. Yeah, I actually had a gecko not eat for 6 months over here, and it wasn't even breeding. Maybe it just smelled the pheromones going on in the room. She started pooping green and stuff. I thought she had a parasite infection. Well, guess what? 6 months later, she starts eating, and her poop and coloration is looking just perfectly fine, perfectly normal. So yes, that does happen. It's rare for leopard geckos to go on food strikes, but it can happen. I've had a couple geckos that will kind of slow their eating. This is my only gecko that ever went off of food for 6 months. It's much more popular with ball pythons to go off of food for 7 months to a year, but not for leopard geckos, but it can happen, yeah. Did you make your leopard gecko racks, or did you buy them? I made them. And if so, where did you get them? I made the racks, and I plan on doing some kind of like DIY video in the future. Just for now, to kind of show you how we did it. Basically, you just use 2x3 arms, and you use 1x3 shelvings, and you just do that all the way across, and that's it. And then you just make sure that this is the space that you need. It's like 4 inches for 6-quart tubs and like 6 inches for 12-quart tubs. I see more super chats coming through, but let me get back to where I was in the question. Nice, thank you guys so much. Yeah, so we make our racks, but if you need to buy a rack, Sea Serpents has pretty good pricing. They're not that cheap. You could look on Facebook. You could look on Facebook for people in your local area that are building racks. Some people build racks out of melamine, out of plywood, out of PVC, and they will sell it locally. But if you want to buy from a professional company, C, the letter C, and then the word serpents, they have a baby leopard gecko rack. It's like 40 tubs for like $700, and then they have adult leopard gecko racks, which is probably like 20 tubs for about the same amount. Sea Serpents, I can say, is a good company though. Do you recommend superworms or mealworms? I recommend mealworms. Personally, I feed superworms because they're bigger, but if mealworms are better, I recommend mealworms, Isaac, because, and I showed this yesterday, but superworms you have to keep alive inside of a bin, and they're too big to feed to baby. They're too big to feed to baby leopard geckos. So when you're working on the scale that we're working on, easiest is best, right? And with mealworms, you can literally store them in your refrigerator like that, 50-degree temperatures. They will go to sleep, and they will last in there for 3 months. And you could just slowly pick out what you need, which means that you could buy in bulk from rainbowmealworms.net. They're my mealworm supplier, but you could get them from anywhere. You buy a few thousand in bulk, and then you just let those sit in your fridge and just grab them when you need it. That is why I like mealworms over superworms. And as far as being better, I wouldn't say they're better, but for me, as a breeder who's working with multiple animals, it is better, because superworms I cannot feed to baby leopard geckos, which means I would need to buy mealworms and superworms. And superworms are kind of tough. Even some of the adult leopard geckos, they really need to crunch on those worms to make sure that they get them down and they kill them. Superworms, because they're bigger, they can get out of the bowl much easier. So I buy these escapee feeder dishes from rainbowmealworms.net. Mealworms cannot get out of those dishes, but superworms can, which means if you drop the superworm in there, it might run away, get under a hide or something, and your gecko will never find it. So for all of those reasons, I prefer mealworms. Thank you, John, for your donation. Love the help and support, man. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Again, all the proceeds and donations, guys, we want to open up our own reptile touring facility. Similar to what Ty Park has going on in Florida, we want to be that here on the West Coast in Arizona, so you can come interact with iguanas, giant reticulated pythons. You could come and see our gecko breeding lab and how we go about combining the genetics, get hands-on, bring your family. So all of the proceeds are going towards us growing this business to expand into an operation like that. This isn't relevant to leopard gecko breeding, but how do you feel about chameleon geckos? I personally think, you know what? I usually know most of the reptiles that are out there. I've never heard of chameleon geckos before. I will have to look that up. Sounds really cool. Hi, it's Jason. My gecko has eggs. Now what will a yellow and orange one be? What will a yellow and orange one be? If you breed a yellow gecko to an orange gecko, you're going to get a mix of the two colors, because that's just how it is. If you breed a yellow gecko to a yellow gecko, you're going to get yellow babies. If you breed an orange gecko to an orange gecko, you're going to get orange babies. If you breed an orange gecko to a yellow gecko, you're going to get an in-between shade or color of babies. And I actually have one here. This is actually the perfect example. I bred a tangerine to a yellow. So this is what happens when you combine orange with yellow. You will get hints of orange and yellow throughout the gecko. And every gecko is going to vary and differ a little bit, right? This one is not going to look exactly the same as all of its siblings, but for the most part, you're going to get that in-between color of yellow-orange. I mean, up for you, Isaac, or I do is I use giant mealworms. I also use super waxworms because my gecko doesn't like crickets or roaches, but sometimes I'll give him roaches. Yep. You know, on weird occasions, some reptiles will not like certain animals. I've never come across a leopard gecko that does not like mealworms, which is why leopard geckos are so great, guys. They're so easy to take care of. They come in so many different colors. You could leave for literally months and not have to worry about your gecko passing away on you. And that's an extreme example, right? But I use that as an example because leopard geckos are so hardy of an animal and they're great. Josh Isherwood, thank you so much. Thanks for your help. Much appreciated. Anytime, guys. Anytime. I appreciate you guys' love and support. What is your favorite leopard gecko? Favorite leopard gecko? If you mean morph, I really like Tangerine, but I also like white and yellow. And then we're also working with Black Knight. Let me just show you my most rare leopard gecko. Most rare leopard gecko. We have 7 of these guys, so we're putting them heavy into breeding as much as we can. But actually, I want to breed this guy tonight. Let's see. I'm not sure if I want to breed him with that particular girl, but this guy is up for breeding tonight, and we're going to try to breed him to either an Afghanicus female or a Super Snow so that we can start making Max Snow Black Knights. This is Toothless. He is one of my favorite Black Knight geckos. This is Fuega. She's one of my favorite Tangerine leopard geckos. And these two are not scheduled to breed because right now I don't think that Tangerine and Black Knight make the best combo. I'd rather put the Black Knight into like snows because I think that makes such a cool look. So let's see if we can actually get this guy breeding now. So if you guys will give me a second, I'm going to get him, see if we can get him breeding, and then I'll answer some questions. So I'm trying to debate over whether I want to breed him to this female or not. She's kind of light. I would prefer to breed him to... And this is why Black Knight and Super Snows make a good combo because they have no yellow on them. So when they have babies, the babies are just going to be pure black and white, and they're really, really cool. Now, my other Super Snows are not ovulating right now. Let me think if I have any other Super Snows. No, I have no other female Super Snows that are ovulating. She's the only one. So this is how you check for ovulations. Let me see if I... Really hard to see. I feel like sorry, I know that looked horrible, but she landed in a soft spot. I feel like I see a faint ovulation with this girl. Very faint. So we're going to try to breed her. If it's not successful, we might scare the male for the night, and then he might not breed to any other female, but we're going to try it. All right, so we're putting Toothless with her. You guys are watching the making of Dark and Light, Black Knight and Super Snow. It's kind of weird. Some males need a confident boost, and if the female shakes his confidence, he winds up like not wanting to breed the rest of the night. So it's same as humans, right? If a female just tears you to shreds and makes you feel like the littlest man in the world, then it's gonna kind of shake your confidence. Unless you're one of those people who just like comes super confident. But so favorite leopard gecko, how old? My oldest leopard gecko is probably 8 years old. I could show you her real quick. And you can really see her age. 8 years ago, back when leopard geckos were kind of just really getting rocking and rolling, there wasn't as many genetic diversity. Today, if you were to look at, what would be considered like a normal gecko, it's going to have, it's going to have so much color to it, different kinds of patterns and all kinds of hets and crazy stuff going on. This girl, as far as I know, she's not het for anything, but she is like an 8-year-old female, just a really nice looking. She's kind of normal. She's pretty much hypo on the back. So she's like hypo or almost super hypo, meaning no pattern. But I mean, she's pretty close to normal. She's, she can be considered like a normal. Her yellow is not super bright. It's just a normal color yellow. And she has all of that beautiful natural leopard-like marking on her head and on her tail. So she's an 8-year-old female. She's actually breeding for us this year and producing healthy eggs. So let's see what we got chat-wise. Yo, Geeky. Hold on, I'm getting there, guys. I'm getting there. How's it going, Junior? Good to see you up in here. I got to go. I'll see you tomorrow. Annabelle/Lila. Jason, you're welcome. Yo, Geeky. Lindsay, what's up again, Lindsay? Lindsay, I think you were supposed to hit me up or email me for some roaches. Forgive me if I'm mistaken, but if you need to, geekygecko.creations@gmail.com. We are now shipping Dubia roach colonies. And if you guys don't know about Dubia roaches, they're one of the most lucrative feeders that you can start your own colony for $50 today. And that colony will be worth thousands of dollars a year from now. And you can sell to local pet shops every single month hundreds or thousands of roaches that they will gobble up because they can't get enough. Chameleon geckos are adorable. Obviously, they are arboreal. They usually have big emerald or jade green scales, and the interior of their mouths are entirely yellow. Very cool. Lamesso, thank you so much for your donation, brother. Thanks for answering the questions I've asked. Anytime, guys. I'm here to answer. And thank you again. All of those super chats and donations, they're going towards our hashtag reptile dreams, right? You know how there's that clothing brand that's like Zoo Dreams? Well, I do have my own zoo dream. It's to build a reptile park so that in Arizona here, we can build an interactive reptile park that you can come to. You could hold giant animals, get a snake massage. You could see our gecko lab and how we breed our animals, and it'll just be really, really cool. So let me see what's going on here with these guys. It does not look like the male is being very receptive. The female's actually like crawling under him, and he's like not even paying her any attention. So that's a pretty good sign that you're not going to get a successful breeding right now. But I'm going to leave them in there another second, and then we will try to breed him with an Afghanicus female tonight. See if his confidence isn't shaken too much. Now, again, that girl, I'm not 100% sure that girl is ovulating. I thought I saw a very, very small ovulation. I try to pair as soon as I see that small ovulation. So we sell our geckos on Morph Market. Also, you can email me, geekygecko.creations@gmail.com, if you're ever interested. This is going to be a pretty lean year for us. We plan on keeping back 75% of our geckos. We're going to produce about 300 baby geckos this year. They're all going to be top quality, really good quality stuff. But instead of selling them for a lot of money, we want to hold them back so that they can be breeders for next year. And next year we could have 1,000 geckos, sell it for a much more affordable price, and help you guys get your projects launched and going in the leopard gecko world and community, you know. So that is our goal this year. But we are going to be releasing and selling some animals. Guys, I'm also thinking of doing free giveaways. Let me know if that's something that you guys can do or want to do. We will do a Patreon where each tier of Patreon has a monthly giveaway. And if you're part of a tier that pays or contributes like $10 or $20 a month to that tier, those tiers will start to get Gecko giveaways once a month that are worth $100. And the higher tiers, like 20 to 40 or 60 to $80 tiers per month, those will start to get geckos that are worth $300 or $400 on a monthly basis. And anyone who's contributing less, like $5 to $10, we will do monthly giveaways for Dubia Roach Colony giveaways. So let me know if that sounds good. That's kind of what I'm thinking that I'm going to do for Patreon, because I was wondering what perks can I give to people that they're going to like. Who doesn't like giveaways, right? We'll do the spin the wheel thing. If you guys have seen that spin the wheel app, it's so cool. It like hits your number and your name, and then hopefully it lands on you and you win, you know? So we might put that into this year as well. My website also is geekygeckocreations.com. On the website, I have some care information. I post up my latest videos. I don't have any animals for sale yet on there, but I do have Dubia roaches for sale on there. And you can kind of start to get an idea of how our website is organized and everything that we work with here. Help out to get a new gecko to add to our clan. So somebody didn't follow through on this gecko. I'm still waiting for him to confirm payment, but this is in my opinion a pretty nice hypo tangerine gecko. He's $250 plus $50 shipping. He's 12 months old, so he is ready to rock and roll. He's bred for us once, but we just don't have a breeding need for him right now. We have his brother next door over here, which is our main breeder. So that's why we're willing to let this guy go. And at $250, I can tell you that is still a really good price for him. There's a lot of breeders that would be charging between $300 to $400 for this guy, especially as a first-year breeder. You can see that deep orange carrot tail right there. He is super, super hypo. He has green undertones. $250 plus $50 shipping takes him. Maybe we'll even do like an auction for him, or like a giveaway kind of thing. He'll be our first giveaway animal, you know. So we'll kind of see. But if you're interested in him, message me, geekygeckocreations@gmail.com, or my contact information is on my website, and you can kind of message me from that. How much do leopard geckos go for at expos? At expos, they go for morph market prices. If you guys are unfamiliar with where gecko breeders get their pricings from, they get their pricings from Morph Market for the most part. Morphmarket.com tends to set the value of animals in the industry. Expos would raise the price because it's half size because of COVID. I've been to an expo last year. I think it was the same price. I don't think that they are raising the prices right now. And I know that there's lots of breeders that are still vending at reptile shows. The average gecko we have, so if you want like a hypo, a snow, a bold, those kinds of geckos, they're all very nice quality, guys. I take care of my geckos really well. They're really pretty. I hold back the ones that have like the prettiest, you know, traits to put back into the breeding collection. So all the babies we work with are all really nice, which is our entry level gecko is $100. As you become to like a mid-entry level, it's $100 to $200, and our top of the line stuff is $300 to $400, like in that range. But if you were to go to other breeders that I've seen, like the same quality that I'm selling, those breeders will be selling it for like $100 or $200 more. And so my goal is to bring quality animals for quality pricing. So if you're serious about that, help us out, support us, stick around in this channel, because that is what we are saving up for next year. That is why we are keeping back 75% of our babies this year, which is also a good example of how to show you guys how to start your own leopard gecko collection for cheap, right? Because not everybody has $50,000 to go and buy 30 of the best quality looking geckos in the world, right? So how do you start a leopard gecko collection or business or hobby for under $1,000? Well, you get one and or two females. So you get one or two females and one male, and you put them into breeding. You hold back their babies. You put those babies into breeding the next year. That's the great thing about leopard geckos. You can breed them anywhere between 6 to 8 months. So 6 to 8 months later, that gecko is ready to breed, and you're getting fresh eggs and fresh babies from that. So John, I'm leaving off on John's question because I need to check on the Black Knight Gecko here. Man, I did not think the chat this late would be this popular, but I might have to do a chat this late every night. Tomorrow, we're going to do a tour of the facility in the middle of the afternoon. My friend is coming that just moved back to state, and he's going to do a video tour with us here. So if you want to see that, tune in tomorrow. We're going to do a live. I'll try to drop a post or a comment in YouTube of when we're going to do the live, but I'll show you some of the tegus we're working with, the geckos we have, the dragons we have, the savannas we have, everything, ball pythons. And that's exactly what you don't want in breeding, guys. You don't want the female on one side and the male on the other side. That tells me that no magic is happening tonight between these two guys. But that's okay. You move on to the next, right? You can't linger on one when you got a list, as long as we do, of breedings that need to take place. And this is part of that quality control, right, guys? So there are breeders that wholesale and that breed on a mass quantity level. They'll throw like one male with like 5 females. But what I hope to bring to you guys, the value that I hope to bring, is individual care. I know every single one of my leopard geckos inside and out. I know their genetics. I know who they are. I know who I'm pairing them with. I literally watch them breed. And so all of that comes, you know, when you buy into our business and become a partner with us, and share with us, you know, you get everything. I do live streams to answer your guys' questions as much as possible. I love it, guys. I love you guys, and I'm just happy that you guys are here. John, what would you say would be cool combos? Oh, with the white and yellow gene? White and yellow and tangerine. Get a high quality tangerine and breed it with a high quality white and yellow. It's one of the projects that we're working on, and you're going to get some amazing stuff. So let me see who's next on the breeding list here, and then I'll answer some more questions. All right, guys, I'm actually not too hopeful for this pair because I think that this female's already laying dud eggs for whatever reason, and I don't want to scare this male off because I plan to breed him to some other stuff going on down here. So let's do 2 pairings and let's see what we get here. Okay, this pairing has been unsuccessful for so long now, but we're gonna try it. We're gonna try this Afghanicus girl. Do you see how the pure Afghanicus species is very, very dark pattern? We are going to try that girl with the Black Knight. I'm going to put the little green clip so I can keep track of her. And then we're going to try another one here. This is another Afghanicus female, but we want to breed her with our Lemon Frost project. So there's a very nice dark Lemon Frost Turkmenicus cross, which means he has a lot of pure blood inside of him, so he's not showing any tumors or any signs of any problems. And that's one of the projects we're working on. So we're going to put these two together, see if we get any action going with these two. I do not need the little... Actually, I'm going to go grab another little clip. That way I can keep track of each gecko's belongings here. I can clip it red. Red belongs to red. Green belongs to green. All right, since we're only breeding 2 geckos at a time, I'll let those geckos do what they do, and I will see where I left off on questions. How much do leper geckos go for? Oh, at expos. Super happy, healthy geckos. Yep, that is what we go for. The morph I would really ideally like to work with our max snow, super snow. How common and cheap are they at expos? You'll probably find max snows at expos for anywhere between like $75 to $150, depending on their quality. This is one of my favorite variations of snow. When you breed a max snow to a max snow, you get a super snow, and it's probably one of my favorite things to do with the snow gene. It's beautiful. This one's also eclipse, actually, so I think the brightness in here is messing with the quality, but it has an all black eye with the red slit. The red slit's hard to see, but beautiful geckos. I'm very jealous of your Black Knight. We hope to get one, but I'm so scared to buy one from someone and then it's a scam. Yeah, guys, there are a lot of scams going on right now for Black Knights. If you see somebody post up a picture of a Black Knight and then there's no comments, like the comment section is turned off, that's probably a scam right there. I was involved in one recently where we were following up with this lady who had a Black Knight, and she wanted us to drive like 4 hours and put a $200 deposit down for only like a $400. If it sounds too good to be true, most of the time it is. Sometimes it's not. But if you want a high-quality Black Knight, stick around, follow us. We're going to be selling some Black Knights over the next 2 years. We want to blow the Black Knight community up, and that's one of the reasons why we are trying to breed the Black Knight into so many other bloodlines to freshen that bloodline and provide people an opportunity to buy a pure cross Black Knight, like a 50% Black Knight for half the price that you would buy a regular Black Knight. You know, so our goal is to get Black Knights, 50% Black Knight crosses to that $500 range and pure Black Knights to that $1,000 range. But it's going to take a little time to get there, and so work with us, and that's part of why, you know, these super chats and the donations, everything helps, because the less I need to sell geckos to support the business, the more I can hold back geckos and produce better stuff for you guys and sell it at a better price next year. So I hope that makes sense. So my male just locked with my female for the first time for both of them. Any tips I need to watch her? How long? She will lay in about 2 weeks. Check her belly after about a week. Make sure that it looks pretty red, or make sure it looks like the eggs are starting to grow in there. You could also try to repair her if you just want to be sure that the sperm made it into her. You could try to put the male with her a week later. If she receives him, perfectly fine. If she doesn't receive him, let her go and keep an eye out for those eggs 2 weeks later. I always check a couple days before the 2 week mark when I'm expecting those eggs. At what age do you stop breeding? I breed forever. I have an 8-year-old female right now. My plan is to keep breeding her until she's no longer with us. I'm probably not the best person to ask about oldest gecko to breed, because I've only been actually breeding geckos for the last, I want to say 3 years. I've only actually been breeding geckos 3 years. I've obviously been in the hobby and researching them much longer than that, but I've actually only been breeding them 3 years. So my oldest gecko is only 8 years old, and she is breeding for us this year. Our male is 11. My husband has had her since he was about 6 and worry about, yeah, keep breeding. I mean, just breed, just breed. So, I mean, in the wild, the gecko is going to breed until it no longer needs to breed. It's kind of funny. Jurassic Park, right? Jurassic World. He's like, animals have 3 main needs, right? The need to eat, the need for protection, and the need to reproduce, right? Except he probably phrased it a different way. And these geckos are simple, guys. To put it simple, their main goal in life is to stay alive and then to reproduce. If you think of it that way, stay alive and reproduce. So just give him a chance. Let him reproduce as much as he can until you see that it's not worth it or until you don't want him to be worth it. Yeah, John, if you like the giveaway idea, again, I was thinking of like a quarterly giveaway, like every 3 months, but I thought it's more motivational if people do a monthly giveaway. But for us to do that, guys, we would need to start a Patreon where at least 5 people are in every tier. I put together a tier list of the giveaways. Tier 1 is a Dubia Roach. And that's like, I think it's like $0 to $5. No, I think it's $5 to $10 is tier 1. And tier 2 is a super Dubia Roach colony where you get like 20 female Dubia Roaches. That's a value of like $50, but that's a $10 a month commitment. If you have a $20 a month commitment, once a month, we're looking to give away a free like Hypo or Max Snow or Bold Gecko. A lot of the geckos we have, none of them are completely normal. They're all like some kind of nice genetic, right? If you're in the $40 to $80 range, you'll get like a $200 Tangerine in a giveaway. If you're in the $80 to $200 range, you'll get like a $500 gecko giveaway. And if you're in that like 200 plus range, you'll get like a Black Knight or a flight trip out here to come like see us and spend time with us at the facility. So there's different ideas I have, but I don't know what people are able to or willing to commit to right now. So it's just going to take a little bit of time to get those giveaways going. But that's one thing that I am considering right now. So drop it in the comments, actually, because I'll read the comments later. If you guys have a desire for Patreon commitment, $5, $10 a month, $20 a month, let me know. I mean, don't let me know what your commitment is. You don't have to put your information out there like that. But just know that if you're committing $20 a month, you're gonna go into the drawing for like a $200 gecko every month. If you're committing $10 a month, you're gonna go into the drawing for like a $100 gecko every month. So as long as I have a minimum amount of people that are in that tier, and that's where you letting me know in the comments helps me know how many people are interested in that. Do eggs that are close to hatching become soft? No, eggs that are close to hatching are actually the hardest they'll ever be. Let's see what's going on here. No action from these guys. No action from these guys. We're going to take them away. And that'll be it. I don't know why these 2 Afghanicus girls, they are not wanting to breed for me. It's kind of crazy. So you just try over and over again. They are an Afghanicus subspecies, so is it possible that they don't want to breed with the Macularis species? Sure, it's possible, but I have an Afghanicus that has already bred with the Macularis, so, you know, some females are just picky. Same thing with these 2. So again, this is a low expression lemon frost right here. They have the really bright colored eyes, but it is also 87.5% Turkmenicus. And that's one of the projects we're working on, is purifying the bloodline of the lemon frost so that they don't produce tumors, because they are arguably the most beautiful color enhancing trait that you can have in leopard geckos. Unfortunately, some of them develop tumors, and if you breed a lemon frost to a lemon frost, those ones develop tumors even more. So this one has been outcrossed to a pure bloodline of Turkmenicus for 3 generations now. It's 87.5% pure Turkmenicus and only 15% of the old Macularis blood. But it is still a lemon frost, and it's a project we're working on. So really cool, though. Their eyes are just the most beautiful in the world. Of course, the camera can't pick it up. And this one actually, his eyes aren't the best. We have three males. His are not the brightest, but they do have pretty bright eyes. Their eyes look like a lightning storm going on, like a thunderstorm. It's pretty crazy. Oh, actually, I have to mark. What's today's date? Is today the 4th? Yeah, we're going to mark it as the 4th. I'll have to watch this live stream back, but the first 2 geckos, and see, this is the problem when I do a live stream and talk, I need to keep myself, make sure I record the information good, but the first, for anyone who was here, oh no, NN7, which one was NN7? No, I think I need to cross that out. NN7 did not breed tonight. Rather, it was Bold F3 bred tonight. And we had a lock. So I'll put lock on 3-4. And then I will import all of this information into the computer. Bold F3. Okay, so we have one more Afghanicus. She had a very small ovulation. I don't know if she's ready. And we have a Turkmenicus that we need to try to breed. So let's try to get those 2 done. So here's the Afghanicus. I believe she is ovulating or has a small ovulation. It was kind of hard to tell. We're going to check her. Yeah, it really does not look like she's ovulating. So I'm actually not even going to push it with her tonight. But what I will do, we will try to breed Turkmenicus female 3. So here we go, Turkmenicus female 3. So here is a pure Eublepharis turkmenicus. It is a separate species / subspecies of leper gecko. It's thought that all of these subspecies were mixed in the hobby anyway when they first came over to the United States. But the benefit of this gecko is that you can use the pure blood of this gecko to create cleaner bloodlines in your animals. Like if you have inbred lines. She looks like she is ovulating, so we're going to try to put her with Lemon Frost Male 3. So here is Lemon Frost Male 3. You can see he's similar to Lemon Frost Male 1. It's hard to tell on camera, but they just have that bright yellowration. They have that bright yellow color. It's like neon. Put the little ID tag on there. And I think that's going to be it for the night, guys. So I actually have more ovulations to check. But you can't do everything in one night, right? And so there is still probably some other cleaning and stuff I have to do, like in the ball python room. So let me see if I can get some of your questions here that I missed. Woot, giveaways, yay. Is the 2 white dots on the gecko's stomach eggs? So Jason, I actually have a video in my YouTube channel about what eggs look like compared to fat bodies. So if you need the link to that video, message me on Facebook or email me, geekygeckocreations@gmail.com. But if you go into my YouTube links of videos, it will show the video of what there's 2 white sacs in a gecko's lower body end. And it's hard to show in the camera here, but there's 2 white sacs that are not eggs. Eggs are staggered. In the video, it shows it perfectly and goes through a lot of different examples. So I hope that helps. Do eggs that are close to hatching become soft? No, they are harder. I'm not incubating a leopard gecko egg at 90 Fahrenheit. Oh, I am incubating a leopard gecko egg at 90, and it's been 36 days. The egg is getting rather soft. Some eggs can go bad. And by the way, some incubators fluctuate. You need to drop a thermostat probe right on top of the incubator. Let me show you what I mean. So whenever you're incubating, you need, whenever your egg crate, your egg box is down here, you need a thermostat right on top of your egg box so that you can see what the temperature is right on top of the egg box. If you're incubating it in something like this, the digital program is going to read 92 degrees at the top, but it's only going to read 88 degrees at the bottom or 89 degrees at the bottom. So it's important that you monitor the temperature where the egg is. If the temperature of that egg is going above 90, that's usually thought to be not so good because you can compromise the health of the egg. So obviously you're not incubating too low. My concern for you would be that maybe you're incubating too high, but sometimes eggs are just bad. You know what I mean? So if you're shooting for a male, I would try to incubate between 88 to 89 degrees. Because if you have fluctuations in your incubator, let's say your room gets hot one day and your egg is cooking at 92, 93 degrees, now, in my opinion, that's no longer good based on the data that I've seen from other people. I've never personally incubated at 92 to 93 degrees, but there's lots of breeders in the hobby that have said, or at least documented, that if you incubate at 91 to 93 degrees, you're going to get what's called hot females. Females that don't reproduce and are aggressive. So thanks, bro. Much love. Of course. I just sent an email. No rush. Definitely interested in the roaches. Cool. Yeah, so we are selling Dubia roach colonies, guys. I'm wanting to see if you drop any clutches of those this year. Yes. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of good clutches. I just have to selectively hold back the ones that we want to put into the rotation for next year so that next year we have over 1,000 babies. We can give you guys the best prices that you can find and high quality geckos. You know what I mean? So I'm here in California, not too far from you, 2 to 3 hour drive. Definitely worth the drive to check your facility one day. Of course, Eric. Yeah, we would love to set something up with that for people, you know, to be able to come down, see how we do things, bring their family, interact with all of the animals we have here. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing a house tour in the middle of the afternoon, somewhere probably between 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. A friend of mine is supposed to come over, and we're going to do a live stream, and we're going to kind of tour the house and talk about all the different species we work with. At least that's the plan, guys. Do you keep your racks warm? If so, with what heater to keep the temperatures? So we use FlexWatt heat tape, which we are actually a distributor of now, guys. If you need any FlexWatt heat tape, let me know. But this stuff is about $2.40 per foot for the 4-inch heat tape. It snakes up and down the shelves. You see that? It snakes up and down the shelves to provide 90-degree temperature at the very back of the rack. And the way that that's accomplished is with a thermostat like this. The reason our thermostat is set so high is because when that heat is heating through this plastic, it takes a little bit extra oomph, a little bit extra hotness to get through the plastic. So what makes a tangerine a sunburst? Honestly, I'm not too familiar with the name sunburst. There's a lot of people that came up with their own names, right? So for example, we have tangerines in our collection. Our main thing that we're known for is tangerines that are bright orange and have bright green undertones. That's called emerine. So because that's our focus, we want to name that lineage now. And we're thinking of naming it after like a Filipino fruit or something like that, since I'm part Filipino. So we still have yet to come up with a name, but Sunburst is probably just a name that somebody came up with to describe their specific line of tangerine. A lot of people do it. How do I check follicle growth? So that we don't really use that term with leopard geckos for follicles. Maybe you're talking about ball pythons. Ball pythons, you can check follicle growth by you can palpate, like you could feel their belly to feel if you could feel the ovulations growing, but I've never successfully done that, so I can't speak to it. You could also what is it called? Ultrasound them. You can buy an ultrasound machine for $1,000 to $2,000 and you could ultrasound them. Right now, we're on the all-natural method of breeding ball pythons. We're just pairing males with females. We're looking for the signs of follicle growth visually, which is females retreat to the cooler side of their tank, and they will start wrapping their bowls to grow those follicles. Once those follicles are fertilized by the sperm after breeding, they will then move to the hot side to warm up those babies. So as far as leopard geckos are concerned, I have a whole video on ovulations. It shows you every stage of ovulation that the female leopard geckos go through. So check that out. It goes through it in extreme detail. Ovulations start off really tiny. They start off really tiny in leopard geckos. They're just like a pink dot. And then that dot will grow for 2 weeks. And you need to pair them. You need to pair the male with that female in that 2-week period, or you're going to miss that ovulation. And you have to wait another week or so to catch the next ovulation. And then you're losing out on clutches, right? Because a female is only going to ovulate once every 2 weeks for about a 4-month period. If you don't catch her ovulations at the beginning, let's say you catch her ovulations towards the end and you've been missing it for 2 months, you're going to miss out on some babies that you could have got from her prior. If you started a monthly Patreon, I'd sub to it. I think the monthly giveaway sounds awesome. Yeah, monthly it's not too much, right? It's not too much, not too little. We'll do a spin the wheel thing. Your name will hopefully get selected and you'll win that month's draw. All right, so we got 2 down for Patreon. Awesome. I want to show you my setup I just made today. My leopard gecko got out and went under my fridge, so I got a new bigger cage, more crazy stuff. I had that happen with a couple of animals getting under the fridge. I also want to know what morph my gecko is. I know he has a carrot tail and is almost completely yellow on his back. So if he does not have black spots or bands, he's probably a hypo. Send me a picture, geekygecko.creations@gmail.com. I'll ID that gecko for you the best I can. Jay, what's up again, man? Hey, man, what the weight you start to breed your females? I'm comfortable with breeding the females between 40 to 45 grams. This year, I'm experimenting. I have about 7 females in the making that are 31 grams to 39 grams. I will not promote that until I see the results of how that goes. But I know that females that are 40 grams and up, you're perfectly fine for. I may be interested in Dubia roaches as well. You totally sold me. Yeah, you know, and honestly, guys, I'm not much of a salesman. Like, I don't like to push people into a sale of something they don't need. But if you're in this hobby, you're going to need money to buy the animals you want, right? For a $50 Dubia Roach setup, you're going to get like 20 females and like 5 males for about 40 something dollars, $50 with shipping. And guess what? If you let those females grow, if you let that colony grow, let those females keep breeding babies and babies and babies for 12 months, you will have hundreds of adult breeders, maybe even thousands, 1,000 or 2,000 by the time that the 12 months is up. Actually, you'll have way more because Dubia Roach females have 30 babies a month. So if you get from us 20 females, that's 600 babies a month times 12 months is what, like 60,000 roaches, you know, and you just let those roaches grow up and into full adulthood. And those roaches, pet stores are always looking for Dubia roaches. People online, I cannot, I'm just a small time breeder, but I cannot meet the supply that people are asking for. Even the biggest Dubia Roach breeders in the country right now are sold out. Think of that for a second, are sold out and months behind. So pet stores need your help to, and this is the way you could benefit. Pet stores will gobble up roaches from you all day long. And if you sell them 10,000 medium roaches at the price of 15 cents per roach, you just made $1,500 right there in that one transaction. So it's free. They reproduce like crazy. They don't smell. If they get out in your house, they're going to die for whatever reason. They just don't do well in the house. You keep them between 80 to 90 degrees, spray water in there every couple of days, throw them oatmeal, carrots, and celery. So easy, guys. And they will make you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Are you able to keep electric bills down? We have actually solar power in this house, and Arizona summers are brutal. But other than that, yes, electricity is not so bad with the heat sources we use right now, you know, because we're using heat tape. We don't use too many light bulbs and stuff because, you know, we're mainly dealing with ball pythons and leopard geckos, so they're on the heat strips, you know what I mean? And those heat strips don't take too much electricity. With all the heat. What was I going to say about the heat? We're also experimenting with ambient temperatures, guys, because I got a friend in the Philippines that breeds leopard geckos out there, and he keeps his leopard geckos at 80 to 90 degrees year round just because that's the temperatures in his house. He doesn't even have them on heat. All we've been doing here this winter is using this heater to heat the room that I'm in right now to about 82 to 90 degrees during the day. If I keep the blinds open, the sun shines in and it actually gets 90 degrees in here, and babies can digest with that temperature range. And at nighttime, we turn this on and we keep it between 82 to 86 degrees in here at night, and it's perfect. Look, we don't even have any heat tape back there right now. We've been doing this for a couple months now. These geckos are eating, breathing, living, thriving just fine in ambient temperature. As long as the gecko hits somewhere between, I'd say, 86 to 90 degrees throughout its day for a consistent amount of time, that's all the ambient heat that you actually need to allow it to digest. Now, if I had to make an absolute recommendation, I would say absolutely your room should hit a minimum of 88 to 90 degrees hot during the day. And then at night, it can drop down to 75 to 80, but it needs to hit that 88 to 90. Can a gecko digest at 84 to 86? Yes. But I'm not confident enough to recommend that that's all that you need to, you guys. My buddy in the Philippines, I was looking at his temperatures. He has no heat source. He averages 85 degrees between day and night in his house, and his geckos eat, live, and breathe just fine. So, but if I had to personally recommend something that I know works right now, make sure your room gets up to 88 to 90 degrees for a few hour period so the geckos can digest, and then at night it can drop. Also, can I keep a lamp on at night? Yes, you can. If it's cold, keep a night light on so that the gecko's eyes are not bothered by light. A night light meaning a night heat source. You can also get a heat pad, pop it under the tank, fold the towel over the heat pad, pop it under the tank so it's not exposing 150 degrees, you know, because those heat pads get pretty hot, and you can create a heat source on one side of the tank that way, or you could use a nighttime reptile bulb. Can you create your own color or line? Let me see how our gecko's doing over here. And then I will get back to answering questions. Yeah, so I was talking. I didn't see if these guys bred, but I will check the female in a couple days to see if they did, if her ovulations are starting to grow. All right, we're going to put all her stuff back here. We're going to put the ID clips there. So if you have to walk away from your leopard geckos, a couple signs you can look for to see if the male bred is when you come back, see if he's licking his private parts, because a lot of times their private parts will be left out for a few seconds after they're done breeding. And when you walk back, when you come back into the room, if he's licking his private parts, there's a good chance that they bred. It's not automatic. The best thing to do is visual locking on to the gecko to make sure they bred, like seeing them. And that's normally what I do here. And I was hoping to do tonight, but we didn't really have a lot of success with locks tonight. We paired up 6 geckos tonight, and I only visually saw 1 gecko lock. The other geckos didn't lock, and this gecko I'm actually not sure about, so I'll try to repair her tomorrow when I can like actually, you know, focus on it. So can you create your own color or line and name it? Yeah, we're creating our own color and line. We're thinking of naming our orange, our bright orange and bright green leopard gecko line, the calamansi line, because it's after a Filipino fruit, and I'm part Filipino, and so yeah, you can name your own line. Also, thank you for the roaches, fam. Of course, Jay. Yeah, we're gonna get you starting that roach colony. How much is the pattern? How much is the pattern? Oh, Patreon. Yeah, so Andrew, we're gonna do Patreon. I'm currently coming up with a Patreon, but there's gonna be like a $5 tier and a $10 tier, and you know, if you give 0 to $5, or I think it's like $5 to $10 with a minimum of 5 people in that tier. Every month, we're gonna give away a starter Dubia roach colony, which is 10 females and 3 males. Paid shipping and everything to you guys. All of our giveaways are not going to be, you don't have to pay shipping for any of our giveaways. That's going to be one of the funnest things, right? Because sometimes giveaways are fun, but then you got to pay $50 or $70 shipping or whatever the case is, you know. We're going to do free shipping on all of our giveaways. So it's purely a giveaway, you know. Where it's beneficial for us is if there's 5 people in tier 1 giving $5 a month, that's $25 for our bottom line to support this business and the expenses. So therefore, I can give you something that is of that value. So you only paid $5 for something that you won. If you win, because you still have to win, right? But that's part of the fun of it. It's a little bit of a gamble. You help support us, and we appreciate that. But we're gonna do $5 to $9 is a starter Dubia roach colony giveaway. That's 10 females, 3 males. $10 to $14 is a super Dubia roach colony giveaway, which is 20 females and like I think it was 6 males. And then if you are in the 15 to if you're in the $15 to $20 a month range, tier 3, you're going to get the chance once a month to win a free $100 gecko. Well, free. I mean, you're paying a monthly subscription, right? But to win a gecko that is either like a hypo, a bold gecko, a snow gecko, any gecko that is in our normal $100 price range. If you are a Patreon committed at $20 to the $40 range, then you're going to get the chance to win a gecko that is in our $200 price range. If you're in the $40 to $80 price range, you'll get a gecko that is in the price range of our $400 geckos. And the tiers go up above that to hit like our $500 price range, as well as our $1,000 price range for like Black Knights and stuff when we have those available. So if I bred my female and she laid eggs, do I have to breed her again? You do not have to breed her again, but this year we are experimenting with what's called repairing the gecko. So I'll breed the female, and after 2 clutches, I will try to repair the female to see if she takes the male. Most of the females this year, they did retake the male. They did repair. And so what that's telling me statistically is that females want to get more sperm inside of them for increased fertility rates. It doesn't mean it's needed. I've had females that lay a whole clutch of, 10 to 12 eggs for me in a year off of one breeding. It doesn't mean it's needed, but to me personally, I think the more sperm that's inside of her, you stand better statistics, better odds. I'm trying to tame my gecko, but he is a runner and a jumper, and I'm really scared that he'll never get calm. Yeah, sometimes geckos can keep their attitude. My encouragement to you is maybe put him on your lap, let him just be gentle with him. There's really not much you can do other than just being gentle with them, not grabbing them from the top like a hawk, but letting them walk hand to hand. Let them crawl on your couch, on you while you're watching TV and just chilling. Some geckos, unfortunately, are just going to maintain an attitude. 99% of leopard geckos do not have an attitude, but yes, I have had leopard geckos that do have attitude, so I feel your pain on that one. Do you need lamps in a normal tank, or you could use under tank heat? The problem is with an under tank heater, if you don't have it connected to a thermostat, it's going to pump out. If you plug it straight into the wall, it's going to pump out max heat, which is like 150 degrees. So you need to wrap a towel around the under tank heater and then put the tank on top of it so it dilutes some of that heat, would be my recommendation. Or get a temperature gun from Amazon. They're like 20 bucks. It shoots a laser beam and reads the temperature of a surface, and then you could know how hot the surface is. Hey, Jay, I have 2 females that only laid 1 to 2 clutches each. Do you might know what the problem could be? Sometimes that happens, Jay. I have some females that will lay for me 10 to 12 eggs. I have other females that are in perfect health, exact same conditions as every other female that I keep here, and they lay 3 bad clutches in a row, even if I repair them. Sometimes stuff just happens, Jay. I would analyze your variables to see what might be going wrong. Did you try to repair that female? That would be a recommendation. Does that female have constant access to fresh water at least once a week, maybe twice a week? Does she have calcium and vitamins, Osteoform SA and Vionate vitamin powder? These are like the most recommended vitamins in the hobby from breeders that started this 30 years ago in this hobby. And so that's why I use these. And again, it's a 3-to-1 ratio. 3 scoops of this for every 1 scoop of this. That's important. Yeah, of course, Andrew. Thank you so much for being here, man. That's cool. So Andrew, DEA Exotics, he has his own channel as well. He does like nightly stuff like this too. And he's a super cool, down-to-earth guy. He is one of the OGs I've been talking about that's been in this game a while, much longer than I am. So my hat's off to you, sir. I appreciate you being here. Go check him out, guys. He's got a channel that he runs in his own personality in his own way too, and he's pretty cool. He's like into the politics stuff, and he could kind of tell you more about like politics and what's going on politically. Me, I'm not so much, I don't really follow news and stuff like that. I'm spending all day just cleaning my gecko poo and everything, but everyone has their own thing they're known for, right? And Andrew, you're welcome, Andrew. He's a great guy. Nothing bad to say about him. He's been supportive towards us, and he knows a lot of the OGs in this game, people that you might not know who are. he's been around them and he's got some cool content. So John Saxton, my lizard has spots on his head and tail and has a carrot tail and a yellow-orange body. Can he be considered a tangerine? So originally, there really were not any pure orange geckos in the wild, but at some point, somebody found orange hues or orange colorations on a gecko, and they started breeding them, all of that orange together, back and forth for many, many years until you get a fully orange gecko. Now, if you take a full orange gecko and you breed it to a yellow gecko, their babies are going to be part orange because of the dominance of the orange in the one gecko. So yes, it's considered a tangerine cross. If it was a cross between like a pure orange gecko and then a yellow gecko, it is tangerine to a certain degree still, right? It has that tangerine potential in there. It has that tangerine coloration in there. It's just low contrast, if you want to put it that way. It's low color tangerine versus high contrast or high quality tangerine. What's the time between clutches? 2 weeks, average, but sometimes it'll be 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks is average. If a female starts, if 3 weeks have gone by and she has not laid, she either reabsorbed her first eggs, which does happen, which means that she was not fertilized by a male, or she just decided to reabsorb. Sometimes that happens even when they are fertilized by a male. It's happening to me right now with 2 of my girls, 2 or 3 of my girls. They were ovulating, they paired, they reabsorbed their first clutch of 2 eggs, and they have yet to lay for me. And it's been 4 weeks for one girl and 4 months for another girl. The one girl just stopped ovulating after that. That threw me for a loop. But anyway, some weird stuff happens. And let me see your question again. The time between clutches averages 2 to 3 weeks. If it goes 3 weeks or more, sometimes females are getting, they're reabsorbing their first clutch. You might want to try giving them a couple of warm baths just in case that female is getting egg bound where she can't release the eggs. And don't get me wrong, just because she hasn't laid in 3 weeks does not mean that she's egg bound. But I'm just saying it's a possibility. So you might want to give her a warm bath if you're really on top of it. Do that. So, but yeah, 2 weeks, bro. As soon as that female lays, I write it down. I put it in the computer, and I come up with an expected lay date for the next clutch. And I will check that girl 3 to 4 days before her next expected lay date, which is 2 weeks later. I'll check her every day until I catch that new set of eggs. Hope that helped you out there. The thing is that I got him or her from a pet store, so I didn't expect him to be that. Yeah, pet stores, a lot of pet stores, they don't keep track of the genetics, so it will just be a mix of stuff. The one laid only 1 clutch out of that. She had only 1 good egg, now nothing, and I've repaired. Same goes with the other one, except the 2 clutches. Make sure your temperatures are good, Jay. Make sure that female has a cool side of 75 and a warm hot spot of like 90 degrees. And has that whole variation to go through. Make sure she has a humid hide. Make sure she has fresh water. Try it twice a week. Fresh water and food twice a week. And see what happens. And also try to repair her. But, Jay, sometimes stuff just happens, unfortunately. It's not common, but it can happen. Do I need to pair the same male and female multiple times in a season? 1 time is enough, but more times is better, in my opinion. So after the female lays 2 clutches, so after she lays 4 eggs, repair her. After she lays another 4 eggs, repair her. After she lays another 4 eggs, repair her. Repair her after every 2 clutches, or at least try to repair her. And if she doesn't repair, it's perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. I have a Super Snow and a Bell Albino, and I want to breed her. So yeah, if you have a Super Snow and a Bell Albino, you'll get babies that are Snow 100% het for Bell Albino. Because Bell Albino is a recessive gene. Both parents need to carry the Bell Albino gene to have babies that are Bell Albino. But all of those babies will have one copy of the Bell albino gene. All right, guys, let's get the last questions in now because I still got a little bit of work left to do tonight. I'm going to grab some food, maybe catch a late night TV program with my wife before the night is over. If it's not too late and she's already sleeping, but I still have some more cleaning stuff. Can I push it off till tomorrow? Yes, but I really don't want to. I want to prioritize getting the ball pythons spot clean. I need to pull their poo out of their cage. So hope you have a great night. Thank you for these great videos. Yes, thank you. So in closing, guys, we are going to do another, at least I'm planning. I know I'd love to be sure with you guys, right? But my days are always like, whoa, you know? So I have comments now on my YouTube channel. So I'll drop a comment on the YouTube channel, a post, when I am going to do my next live. But tomorrow afternoon, I should be doing another live. Between the area of like 1 to 3, my friend is in town and he's supposed to be visiting me. And he's going to shoot video while I do a full facility tour. And you guys can ask more questions while we do the full facility tour. And he will read off those questions to me. So later, Andrew, later to everybody. Have a great night. Have a Geeky Gecko great night. I will tune in tomorrow. Be looking at a post. And in my post on that live stream tomorrow, so you can chime in. Also see a full tour. Have a great night, you guys. Love you guys. Be safe. Have a good night's sleep. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.